What's going on, guys? Will and I'm back again, this time with my non-spoiler review of Ant-Man and the Wasp. Ant-Man and the Wasp is the sequel to Ant-Man back in 2014, I want to say. Something like that. Oh, it'll be over here, all my corrections. Anyway, this story picks up basically with Scott Lang on house arrest. After the events of Captain America Civil War, he's been locked up in his house for 2 years, and at the same token, because he decided to help Cap out with the whole little Team Cap, Team Iron Man sort of deal, Hope and Hank have been on the run because of that, so not copacetic with those guys right then and there. The movie's main plot point is to rescue Janet Van Dyne, Hope's mother and Hank Pym's wife, the original Wasp, from the quantum realm. Very simple premise, it's nothing, it's not like a lot of twists and turns. In the movie, it is a very enjoyable time. Out of all the Marvel movies this year, it definitely was not going to break the box office between Black Panther and Infinity War. Ant-Man and the Wasp is very much so, I would call a palate cleanser to the dour ending that we got with Infinity War. Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen this movie, it's been over 2 months. A lot of people died at the end of Infinity War. So Ant-Man and the Wasp is definitely a comedy first. It is a comedy film with superheroes in it. And I think that works for Ant-Man. I think the character of Ant-Man, because of its power set, just shrinking, growing, calling himself Ant-Man, controlling ants, it's a very jovial character. And Paul Rudd does a really great job, again, as Scott Lang. He is just a guy, just a regular guy, trying to do right by his family, doing right by his daughter. That's the driving force, and he's flawed. He makes mistakes, and that's relatable as a superhero. And it makes it more entertaining to watch and more entertaining to root for the guy when you want him to do good. I will say my MVP of this movie is definitely Evangeline Lilly's Wasp. I've said it in previous videos before. I always thought the movies had a tendency of showing how much of a badass Hope Van Dyne is and how much of a worthier successor to the Ant-Man moniker she was over Scott. But yeah, she kills it in this movie. I think she's fantastic. The action in the movie is really entertaining. There's really good action set pieces, and the cool thing about the Ant-Man character with the shrinking and the growing, it makes it more entertaining to watch different things happen, different fight sequences, different action set pieces take place in places you wouldn't think them to take place in. Like in the first movie, there was the final battle took place in his daughter's bedroom, whereas this one, you have one of the more intense Wasp action sequences taking place basically in a kitchen in a hotel. Even the villain Ghost, I actually really like the character. Marvel has this thing right now, at least of this past couple movies, of really trying to make the villain character more sympathetic, to make it so that people will see them as a better villain. It's not as strong as, say, Killmonger or Thanos or even Vulture. It's still a good performance by the actress whose name is escaping me at the moment, but I did enjoy the character. I liked the fact the character had a different power set and was still tied into the overall story, with the quantum realm being that's where she got her powers from. It's a very personal story. All of the motivations for the heroes and the villains are very personal. It's about trying to save Janet, or it's trying to use the technology to save yourself. There is a third antagonist. Character's name is Sonny Birch. It was fine. It's just, I say antagonist because I don't really even count Ghost as a villain. More of an antagonist. They have a goal that you understand and relate to, but it's not something that, oh my god, this is a truly evil person who's just trying to do bad things for the sake of doing bad things. I didn't feel that way about Ghost, and I just didn't really feel that way about Walter Goggins' character of Sonny Birch either. He was just a thug, and I think just a third party thrown into the movie. But overall, he was fine. He was fine. Marvel has this way of doing their movies now where it is not just a superhero movie. If you look at the first Ant-Man, it was a heist movie wrapped in with superheroes. If you look at Guardians of the Galaxy, it's a space opera with comic book characters. If you look at Winter Soldier, it's a political thriller with Captain America running around. This one is basically a comedy with superheroes. There's a lot of jokes, and Marvel does a lot of jokes in a lot of their movies. This one, the jokes are coming at you from all sides. I didn't find all the jokes humorous, but the comedy for me that hit stronger was kind of the classic slapstick comedy that you get a couple spots of in the movie with the shrinking and the growing. I found that more humorous than some of the one-liners and the jokes or the going back and forth with certain characters. There is a mid-credit and a post-credit scene in this movie, as all Marvel movies are. The mid-credit scene is very strong. It has a lot of ramifications for the next few Marvel movies, namely Avengers 4. So those you want to stick around for. This does tie into the greater MCU, but what I like about Ant-Man and the character, besides being lighthearted and more easygoing than some of the other movies, it's really standalone-ish, kind of how Guardians is standalone from the rest of the MCU. It's very much standalone from any of the core base Avengers standalone characters. The story itself isn't about the world ending. It's not about evil people doing evil things for evil purposes only. It's a very personal story of family, and it's a very personal story about doing things for the ones that we love and making mistakes, but learning from the mistakes and making right by the mistakes. That's my takeaway from the movie. This movie is also very much a palate cleanser from the heavy-handedness of Avengers Infinity War. Not saying heavy-handedness as a bad thing, but heavy as in the stakes, the overall emotion of the movie, the weight of the movie. You don't have that with this. This is very much a palate cleanser for the current crop of movies from the MCU. Similar how the first Ant-Man was kind of the palate cleanser from Avengers Age of Ultron. Overall, Ant-Man and the Wasp was a lot of fun. Is it going to break box office records? Probably not. Is it going to outgross any of the other MCU films currently in Phase 3? Probably not. It's just a fun movie. It's an entertaining movie. Some of the jokes hit. Some of them were misses, kind of more so than not. I really liked Evangeline Lilly's character. I think Hope Van Dyne is a badass. I'm glad that they gave Michael Douglas more to do than just exposition this time. All the characters were fine. I think Michael Pena, as usual, is very entertaining. The other two really didn't have much to do in this movie, which is fine. They weren't the strongest parts of the last one, so the minimal usage of them was okay. And the Walter Goggins character was it was passable, but it wasn't. I don't think he was necessary. I think the action was great, and overall it was a fun movie. But I say Ant-Man and the Wasp is an entertaining film. It's a fun little movie. It's not going to be the grandiose MCU films like some of the other ones are. It's going to be along the lines of like a Doctor Strange or a Spider-Man Homecoming, where it's big, it'll probably do well, but it's not going to break the bank, and that's totally cool. Well, there you have it. That's my non-spoiler review for Ant-Man and the Wasp. I hope you enjoyed this review. If you do like this, why don't you hit that like button down below. And also, if you want to keep up with any of the other videos I'm going to be putting out on the channel, smash the subscribe button, because I'd love to have you as a subscriber. Also, I am on Twitter. You can follow me there at DGeekWill on Twitter. I tend to post updates on what I got coming up down the pipeline and stuff like that. That's basically it, guys. So keep an eye out for the non-spoiler review. That will be coming up very shortly. And until next time, I'll catch you later.